Hello again. I wanted to share some thoughts about working with parents during this difficult time. Everyone's very uncertain, very afraid, um, and I have some thoughts about what we can do to make this process easier on our communities and also to keep our schools healthy in this time. So the first thought is that because so much is unknown, um, people feel out of control. They feel like they have no control over what's going on. And the thing we can do is return some control by offering choices. Um, so for our tuition, we're about ready to charge for April now. And we've been communicating with parents and letting them know, that we need to pay our bills. We have those fixed expenses that I explained in the last video. And we gave them some choices. We told them that they could continue to pay in full and trust us to eventually make it up to them. Anytime that was not in the classroom, maybe we can give them discounts, free summer camp weeks, things like that. The other thing that I've been mentioning to parents is the idea of ownership of our community, right? I mean, this is their community, and that means that it's in their vested interest to, continue to participate in it. That is a two-way street. That means we need to continue to provide services during this time to them. I mean, obviously, it's not the same thing. It's not, our regular school, but our teachers have been online with the children every day using Zoom, and whether they be singing songs or doing some lessons. I'm not saying it's the substitute for the real Montessori classroom. This is not the true prepared environment, but it is something, and it also helps the children see each other and reconnect. It's a useful thing, what we're doing. I don't think it would ever replace a real Montessori classroom. I'm not trying to make that argument, but I do encourage you to continue to provide something to your families during this time to help keep your communities strong. Because of the services we're providing, I was able to give them these three choices. So I mentioned the first, which is to continue to pay the full tuition and just trust us, basically. That is drawing on the great well of trust that we've hopefully built over the last few years of working with these families. We're a preschool. Our kindergarten is our oldest age. We started at toddlers. So, I mean, we're not going to have families here for 10 years, 12 years. Unless they have many, many children. But the main thing is that they do come to know us and trust us and hopefully love us in this time. Our current school head, Leanne Watson, I want to give her a shout out. She's amazing at building community and has just done a fantastic job of it. And because of that, a lot of our families are trusting us. And of our three options, the vast majority of families, I think of the ones we've heard of, all but I think three have chosen this choice to pay in full. And just trust us. The second choice is basically pay half for April. And now, I explained to them I was not eager about this choice, and I hope they wouldn't choose it because the fewer people that pay in full, the less we'll be able to provide our teachers. And as I've mentioned to you in the previous video, I feel very strongly that to any extent we can, we should try to pay our teachers, as full salaries as we can. I'm not into cutting salaries for teachers. These people work their butts off, and they love the children, and they've made enough sacrifices already. So I'm not asking for them to make any more sacrifices that are necessary. Obviously, if I have no money, I can't pay them, and so I did give the community that choice of paying half, and one family chose that. I explained to them that if they did pay half for that month, then, if we open up later, we may need to ask for more in the month, we may need to ask for more tuition, and everyone seems okay with that. The other option is to simply disenroll. I don't want to get into any lawsuits. I'm of the opinion that these people signed a year-long contract. We are not a pay-by-the-hour childcare facility. We are a school, and they signed year-long contracts. At the same time, this is an extraordinary period, and I have a lot of empathy for families who are receiving no income right now. Most of our families at my school, unfortunate, are very professional, working for large companies. They're able to work from home. They're still getting their salaries, but not all of them. And for that reason, it would be inhumane for me to require everyone to pay something. But at the same time, unless someone were to come to me with very special circumstances, which has not happened yet, and beg to stay on at no cost, I'm giving them the option of unenrolling, and a few, I think 2 or 3, I can't remember if it's 2 or 3, but families have chosen that. I mean, not bad. It's our school has 90 children, so it's not a bad percentage. So basically, what we're looking at is a very difficult time with people in a lot of different circumstances. But the only thing that unites everyone is this uncertainty. I have told people I am not prepared to talk about May at this point, and I strongly encourage you to also refrain from doing that if at all possible, because I think in another couple of weeks, everything we know may be upended. We may know a lot more. I hope we know a lot more about what our timetable is. Certainly, there are many ways to go with this, but I would definitely say look at choices. Look at choices for your families about how to proceed and how to continue to participate. I'm not saying my choices are the right ones for you. Your community may be very, very different, and you may need to come up with all sorts of different options. But I do encourage you to think about returning some control to the parents by giving them some choices. It's very, very, it restores calm and restores confidence if you feel like you have some say in what the heck's going on, even if it's this smaller thing. Now, I want to say we've been using Blooms for our online classes and Zoom for our meetings, and that's been working very well. I would strongly encourage you to find something that works well for you to continue to communicate. I've been told that Zoom has some free educational accounts right now for schools of our sort, so maybe that's something to look into. The other thing I want to encourage you to do when dealing with parents is consistency. Now, what do I mean by this? Someone asked me recently if she should give a refund to one parent who's in a hard financial circumstance. And this is a hard one for me. And I'll tell you what, I said no, and here's why I'm saying no. I believe in the importance of consistency in order to avoid a run on the bank. If you give a refund to one family, then word very well is very likely to get out. You just have to assume it. And then there will be a run on the bank, which is you. And unless you are very, very fortunate, you probably will not have enough money to refund everyone at this time. Do what you will, but I would say set your policy and stick to it. So if you're going to offer refunds, just expect to give it to anyone who asks. Another person asked me, well, what about a discount off of like after school, before school, things like that. Again, be consistent. Make sure that your policies are consistent so that there aren't mixed messages going through and rumors and all that sort of thing. The better you can be an island of stability in an uncertain time, basically some kind of constancy in this chaos, I think the more your families will appreciate you. So those are the things I really wanted to offer to you. Looking for choices for parents, being consistent in the communication and, the choices you're making as a school as to how to proceed. If you have any more thoughts or ideas, please let me know. I'll be happy to explore them with you. Thank you very much.